What is up, Gorilla Nation, and welcome your butts back to another Division 2 vendor reset video. It is February the 4th, and the vendor just has reset. A couple of quick mentions. Be sure to go check out the previous live stream that is posted on the way to 12K. Also, if you're looking for a lap with some awesome PvP with a bunch of guys that are great and hilarious and actually sync well together, then definitely go check out the Hillbilly and the Hamster, as well as the previous one that just posted earlier yesterday, and that would be the King of LMGs. But let's start out with this vendor reset video, starting out first with the base of operations. A police ump 45, base damage is 16,679, steady-handed Allegro stop, drop, and roll. A military G36, 12,965 with Optimist, Distance, and Double Duty. An X45 Tactical, 18,792 with Optimist, Jazz Hands, and Protected Deploy. A 511 Backpack with 2.5% weapon damage, 12,515 armor, 5.5% crit damage with skill duration, and of course damage to elites. Overlord Armaments chest piece, 10% health, 11,673 armor, 22,104 health, and self-adjusting, and 2 defensive mod slots. Not too shabby, even though it is a 493, 10% health, plus 22,000 health, and 11,673 armor on it. The armor regen is actually not quite bad if you actually stack it, so you can actually take off the 11,673 armor and put a better numerical value of armor on it, and it wouldn't be too bad. You know, there's better ones out there, but if you're looking for something a little different to go outside the norms and what we currently have and build diversity, then you can definitely tweak this one as you see fit with some armor regen, or you could just also just go with hardened here for a rifle build. Moving on, an offensive mod, 3% marksman rifle damage, 5% assault rifle damage, and 5% weapon damage. If you're having a hard time trying to farm or find those assault rifle mods, and let's say you have some that are less than 5%, well, here's 5.5%, and if you have enough of them, then those half percentages will actually add up over time. Next, we have a drone mod with plus 4 extra bombs, a turret mod with plus 6 extra mortar ammo. Moving on to the level 30 clan vendor. After this, we'll move on to DZ East, then South, then West, and then finish it up with both of the settlements. Alright, level clan vendor, we have the Invisible Hand. 14,014 base damage, of course, measured that a perfect Allegro everlasting. Definitely with the Gear 2.0 that'll be coming, I'm guesstimating around April. I would definitely have my hands on all of the named weapons with the highest base damage you can actually find on them because they'll actually be stronger than their normal counterparts. Next, we have Negotiator's Dilemma knee pads with 12,969 armor. Just like these gear set pieces, try to find the ones that have the highest base armor that's baked into them as possible and not really worry about the attributes that are on them, but just try to get the ones that actually have the highest base baked in armor on them. Moving on, we have Hardwired Holster, Skill Haste, Health, tip of the spear, gloves with marksman rifle damage, skill power, an SR1, 82,966 damage with steady-handed extra recharged. That AUG A3 CQC 12,907 reformation accurate recharged. The SIG 716 Ranger Allegro protected deploy. Fenris knee pads with skill power, hard hitting, composure. China Light Industry mask with damage to elites, crit chance, and surge. Providence defense chest piece with crit chance, crit damage, armor, and skill duration. Alps Summit chest piece with 14% crit hit chance, 15,521 armor, well, of course, with Bloodsucker. A defensive mod with 4531 health, disorient resistance, and burn resistance. Another drone mod with 172.8% damage, which is not too bad if you're having a hard time also farming for those and looking for something stronger and you have nothing like over 170 or even less than that, then definitely come pick these up. I know there's still a lot of new players coming into the game, that are preparing for this episode 3 and then later on Gear 2.0, so definitely come pick these out if you have none better. Another defensive mod, 4707 health, armor on kill, and that health regen. And then a Firefly mod with 236 Firefly skill power. Alright, moving on to DZ East. Alright, we've arrived here in the East. She has an SRS-A1 with ignited extra recharge, and a custom L86 with strained Allegro and greased. Next, we have a Heliegard mask. Not too bad, even though it's only a 496. It does have insulated on it, a utility mod slot, already 33% hazard protection, and then, of course, crit chance. You can take off crit chance and maybe put a really high roll of skill power around like the 550s, and this wouldn't be a decent mask. With that 30 on it plus the 33, that would be 63 plus the 20 for having the second piece of Heliegard, and that would actually not be too shabby. That's 83% hazard protection. But moving on, we have a Yaw-Gear holster with skill power, crit damage, and an offensive mod slot. A utility mod, 116 skill power, increased confuse duration, increased poison duration. A chem mod with 87.3% damage. A hive mod, 48.6% health. And finally, we have a pulse mod at 33% charge speed. Alright, moving on to DZ South. We're here in DZ South. This vendor has a PP19 with Spike, Jazz Hands, and Spirit Fingers, and Zen. An AKM with Close and Personal, Distant. An R&K backpack with weapon damage, crit chance, crit damage with Insulated and Spark with a utility mod slot. Not too bad, even though it's a 493. It has weapon damage, crit chance, and crit damage already on it. With Insulated, you can remove Insulated and go with Hardened or Vital and kind of make you a pistol build out of this since it already has Spark. And then you throw in a little skill power and then add in the Technician with other pieces, and you can have a pretty decent build by way of pistols. Moving on, Providence Defense. Chest piece with 24,289 health, 16,388 armor, 7.5% headshot damage and restorative. An offensive mod. Also, here's another decent mod. Weapon damage 2%, SMG damage 2%, and another 3% assault rifle damage. 5 going to an assault rifle, and then 4 going to an SMG. If you're running kind of like a hybrid with an AR SMG type situation, then definitely come pick up this mod. Next, we have a drone mod, 127.7% damage. That other mod that we previously was on, I think it was in the base of operations, is much better. A turret mod at 144% damage, not too shabby. So now let's move on to the the west, excuse me. Alright, we arrived here in DZ West. This vendor has a Sausage 12, which is a shotgun with close and personal optimized transmission, a lightweight M4, Optimist optimized protected reload, Alps Summit gloves with 15,309 health and Obliterate with a utility mod slot, Araldi Holdings knee pads with 14,780 health, self-adjusting, a defensive mod, 5882 armor, 1.5% health, 2% armor, which is, these aren't too shabby. They could come in handy, but as the current state of the game is, there's a lot of people running Seekers, so instead of that health roll and that value, you would prefer explosive resistance. So those in that situation would be better, but if this is better than what you currently have, then definitely pick them up. Auxiliary battery for the Pokey Heal or Seeker with 206 skill power. A shield mod with 82.6% holstered regeneration, especially with that new specialist coming out, especially that's a lot of specials, with the shield being incorporated with that specialist. If you have no shield mods whatsoever, because I know I personally do not have any, then you can definitely come pick these up and at least have them on you, so that way you don't necessarily have to farm. So that way when the new specialist does get here, then you can actually use these and then in turn look for some as you progress. Next, we have a Firefly mod with 43.7% damage. Alright, moving on to the settlements. We'll start out first here with the campus. We'll see you when we get there. Alright, we arrived here at the campus. She has an M700 Tactical with Vindictive Accurate Double Duty, a classic RPK 74 with Breadbasket Accurate Protected Reload, a Wyvern Mask with his skill power, damage to elites, and empowered. 511 Holster with skill power, crit hit damage. A utility mod, 42 skill power, 3% crappy, and with a side of 3% even more crap. Next, we have a Chem mod, 48.1% radius, a Hive mod with 68.6% damage, not too bad, only requires 2061 skill power to unlock. And then finally, a Pulse mod with 39.4% charge speed. Alright, on to the theater to wrap up this vendor reset video. We'll see you guys when we get there. Alright, we've finally reached the theater settlement, and this vendor has a custom M870 MCS with steady-handed Allegro in rhythm, a 6.716 Rifleman Jazz Hands in rhythm, a Raldi Holdings with compensated, and of course, 13,359 health, a Raldi Holdings knee pads with 4% crit chance, skill duration, a defensive mod with 4512 health, 9% shock resistance, 21% ensnare resistance, a Seeker mod with 44.4% healing, a Shield mod with 45.5% deflector damage, and then finally a Firefly mod with 16.3% speed. As I always say, one man's trash is another man's treasure, so if any of these items tickle your fancy, then definitely go around and pick them up, especially the invisible hand that's in the base of operations. And then there's two offensive mods. One is 5% assault rifle damage, the other is 5.5%, but one of them also has SMG damage on there if you want to kind of go with an AR SMG build. But in my opinion, that's roughly about it for this week. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned for Mendoza's reset, which will be tomorrow night, and we'll see you guys then.